welcome into the Mental Health Hour. This is episode number 67. Very excited to have another special guest. We've been on a run of great special guest interviews, story sharing, all kinds of great stuff from excellent content creators and musicians and everything. We've had a great run here. Thank you to Gemma in particular for setting up the last three episodes of interviews with great guests. Today is um, no different. We have the very talented Mindy Davey with us to share her story of recovery. Recovery is obviously what it's all about for me. This is what kicked this whole show off, essentially. Here is my 2 year skip, and Mindy will be sharing her story, which she is now 10 years sober. So, a very awesome accomplishment and feat. I hope that I can put in that amount of time. Keep working our program, keep working the 12 steps. For me, that is, I mean, everybody's, as we've discussed on here, everybody's journey is different. And we'll talk to Mindy and see what hers is like. But outside of that, let's not put this off any further. Let's bring her on. Here is Mindy. Welcome, Mindy, to the show.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us. This is very awesome. This is a topic obviously near and dear to my heart. We've chatted briefly before this episode about a little bit of my story, and then Tim is determined to show off the junk behind me. Oh my, good old Gemma. But anyway, back to the topic at hand, recovery. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw it right to you. You want to? A lot of these people in chat know you already. This is my first time really talking with you. But yeah, introduce yourself. Say hello to your friends and
Yeah. Well, what's up, guys? I see a lot of people in there. Mike, what's up, Trev? How's everybody doing? If you guys aren't familiar with me, my name's Mindy Davey. I'm a singer-songwriter from Buffalo, New York, and I do mainly music, but I also do public speaking as well. And I just travel around and speak at schools, detention centers, anywhere I can really tell my story and make a difference. That's kind of what I also do. So, that's a little bit about me. You guys can check out my music all over on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. And I'm also on Twitch. My Twitch name is Mindy Davey Music. If you guys are wondering why I'm turning my head, by the way, I have comments pulled up so I don't miss any comments. But not everything's been on a high note for me. I have a past, and a lot of my past it kind of affected my future, and I had to work through that, but I'll just start kind of talking about where it all started.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you could, like I said in the pre-live, share what you're comfortable with. If you're good to get into the nuts and bolts, that's awesome. And to everybody in the chat, welcome. I want to again thank everybody for being here, and thank you for all your support for the show. Please like, subscribe, follow, share this out. That's the biggest way you can help us out. Me and Gemma put on the show every week for you guys and for ourselves as well. And we want to grow. So sharing us out is free, and it really does help us out. So please take the time to share this out if you like the content. Throughout the show, Hattie will be putting up ways to get in contact with Mindy or follow her as well. And Mindy, take it away, please. Share your story.
Yeah, I grew up in Buffalo, New York all my life. And I have two brothers. I grew up with two brothers. So growing up for me, I was a tomboy. I didn't really fit in with many of the kids in my school because I just wanted to be like everybody else, tomboy wise. I was always hanging out with guys, and I think because of that, it caused me to be a target, and so I started kind of experiencing bullying at my school, and um, just being left out, the last one picked in class, or and that affected me. And every day I came home, my mom was always there for me. She was like my best friend and my support, growing up. And it got to the point where my mom got sick. She was in and out of the hospital, and we couldn't really figure out what was wrong with her. And they finally diagnosed her with endometriosis. She was going through a lot of different pain with the endometriosis. And so at the time, I really didn't have my mom because she was always inside the hospitals. And that affected me, between that and then going to school and like getting picked on. It was just, I felt like I was alone, in it. And it just, I won't ever forget it. I was in my first year of high school. I just started high school as a freshman, and I had a couple kids come up to me and they're like, "Hey, you should come to the homecoming party this Friday. It's after the homecoming dance, and I thought like maybe that was like the point of, oh yeah, I could fit in, and I'll be able to make friends at the party. And I went, and at the party I was introduced to Oxycontin for the first time. And instantly, from my mom having, what she was going through and all the stuff I was going through at school, everything just went numb to me, that everything was just gone. And the next day when I went to school, I was like, where can I get this next fix again? I just kind of wanted to escape away, and that was my escape. And sure enough, right from that point on, it became a daily thing for me. I was always chasing down, the drug. And then it got to the point where I started not being able to find money for it. So I started stealing from, my friends and my family, and it just got out of control. I was arrested my first time, and they placed me on a 6-month ACD program. But unfortunately, I found a way around that. There was a fake methamphetamine that went undetected on my drug test. So I pretty much cheated the whole 6 months I was in and went undetected, still using. And as soon as I was off the 6-month ACD, I ended up hitting the street again. And I went back to drugs again, and not long after.
It's funny how and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Just
no.
so many things when listening to your story are hitting home with me. Just it's funny how manipulative we can be to get our fix, to get what we want. And to this day, even 2 years clean, I still find myself manipulating for other things. I'm using those skills for not drugs, but I shouldn't call them skills. They're not really. That's not a good quality. But we're able to make things happen even when we're broke or whatever.
Yep. Yep. And that's kind of what happened to me. I was always finding ways around it, um and it got to the point where, not too long after I started using again, after my 6-month ACD was up and I started using again, I got arrested my second time. But in between that time, before I got arrested my second time, I actually was introduced to crack cocaine. And that kind of took another, addiction over for me. So it was between those two that I was really bouncing whatever I could get my hands on, is really what I was using. And so not too long after that, I was in the city and I was picking up and I was arrested. It's my second time for possession. This time the judge was like, you have to go to a program. Like, you need to go to outpatient and you need to be monitored. And that's where I kind of met, my sponsor. And I went into the program, and I say everything happens for a reason, because a week into my program, I found out I was pregnant. And at that point, I knew it wasn't it wasn't me just alone on this journey, and anything I put into my body would affect my unborn child. And so at that point, I really was like, I need to get my shit together, and I need to stay clean, for my kid and for my child and for myself, and so I ended up completing my 6-month treatment, and then I went on to have my daughter Ariana. And I say she saved my life because she's my rock, and I truly didn't think I would be alive past 20. If it wasn't for her, I really don't think I would have been. And so I ended up just continuing in rehab. Actually, in rehab, I picked up my guitar for the first time ever. I haven't done music. Music was always a passion growing up for me, but when obviously my addiction came into play, music was no longer a thing for me anymore. I didn't really care about it, and so as soon as I got clean and I started picking music up again, I was like, wow, like I really miss doing this. And so I just started kind of putting myself out there. The app's closed down now, but I started just playing live on Periscope and meeting people and just kind of, putting myself out there. And the people I was meeting and the community was absolutely supportive and amazing. And so I started playing on there. That's actually how me and Gemma met. Met on Periscope.
Yeah, definitely. Quite a few years ago now. I remember you starting up, I think, must be a good 6 years now.
Yeah. And so that was really cool, and I went to America's Got Talent, not too far into when we were doing Periscope. And that was my first time I ever wrote an original song. I went to New York City, and I was trying to, for my America's Got Talent auditions, I wanted to do some exploring. I haven't really visited New York City much, so I wanted to check out the Freedom Towers. And when we were going down Broadway, if you guys ever been to New York City, there's like literally homeless people all over the place with signs. And this guy in particular wasn't asking for anything, he was just trying to keep warm as best as he could. And it bothered me. I come from a small town where if you see somebody down, you ask them for help or something, and so I stood back and I just wanted to see if anybody would acknowledge the guy, and they didn't. So I went over and I bought him things that I thought he could use. And I went up to him and I say, never judge a book by its cover, because this guy's house, his apartment in New York City burned down, and his wife and 2 kids got a spot in the shelter. He didn't. Yeah. And so it was wicked hearing his story, and it just hit me in a way that, people need to stop judging each other and really just, we're human, we all fall, we all go through crazy shit in life, but help each other out. That's what humanity's all about.
100%.
Yeah. So I went back to Buffalo and I wrote this song called Peace. And it was really just all about the experience with this guy and, helping him out in any way, just in general, helping each other out in any way that we can. And I ended up playing that live on Periscope one day, and people were like, you need to release this. Like, we love it, and from that moment on, I was like, this is kind of what I want to do for a career. And I really just want to change people's lives and inspire people and just use my experiences in life to really be that kind of spearheading thing to make a change and make a difference, and so I mean, after that, I continued to play on Periscope, and I continued to just kind of do things that I could do in the community to help in any way. And oddly enough, I met Mike Letica. He's my manager from Duluth, Minnesota. I met him on Periscope one day, and I didn't know, like, really, who he was in the community wise out there in Duluth, but he texted me one day. He's like, hey, I want to bring you out to Duluth, Minnesota to talk to some detention centers and rehab centers and some schools. And so that was like the first time I ever went out and did public speaking and realized, like, wow, this is something that's even more impactful than playing music on Periscope, when you could get out there and actually interact with humans, face to face, and being able to bring inspiration to the people that need it was really a crazy experience for me. And not too long after that, Mike ended up pulling me aside, and he's like, hey, I love making a difference. You have a big heart. You're very talented, and Mike decided to take over as my manager, and he's kind of just been spearheading For years now. He's been, really opening doors for us. And so, yeah, I continue to just write music. I ended up, I love talking about the songs I write, but the next song that I wrote, was called Morgan's Song. And I continued to just share which that was that I was, I'm really disappointed that Periscope shut down because,
Mm.
I would use Periscope as like I'd go live. Michael, I think Mike's in the comments. Trev's in the comments too. Those guys have been day ones, and you know, they could say the same thing. I'd go on live and I'd like write music live with everybody, and so before the songs even came out, like Periscope, everybody, like the community would hear the songs before I'd even put them out. And this next song was Morgan's song, and there's this kid that was bullied to the point where she wanted to end her life in Syracuse, New York. And I came across her story on social media one day, and I went live on Periscope and I was talking about it. And we decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write her a song, and I'm going to also get all of our fans and everybody in the Periscope community to send me cards and anything that we can really show her that she's loved. And so that's what we did. And everybody like sent me all these cards from people all over like the world from Periscope. And we ended up taking a drive down and we visited Morgan. Her name's Morgan. And I wrote her the song Morgan's Song, and we gave her all the cards from everybody on Periscope. And we actually got to like sing her the song. And she said that was a huge part of her recovery, and really kind of getting back to, her being loved, her feeling loved and appreciated, like she did matter. And, that's these two, I give these two examples, I have plenty of other examples, but I always talk about these two because I think they inspired me the most to really use my music to help the community in any way that I can, and especially in a world that's filled with so much hate right now, we need positivity, and we need hopeful stories and just actions in general,
100%.
Yeah.
So, to kind of, maybe stop for one quick moment and expand on a point. You mentioned going inpatient, or did you stay outpatient on rehab?
Outpatient.
Okay. I went inpatient for 44 days for intensive therapy. But rehab is rehab, outpatient or inpatient. And it is a process. Can you kind of talk on how important that was for the beginning of your recovery? I tell people all the time, I was scared to death of it at first, but it really wound up being that foundation I needed. Can you speak on that at all?
Yeah, like I said before, I didn't take rehab seriously until my second time around, and I won't ever forget like my first session going into it. I was, like you said, scared shitless, and this was the first time that I knew like not only did I know that I was going to be a new mom, but I'm also trying to navigate through like rehab being sober, and for years I was using drugs to cope with it. So now all the feelings that I'm actually dealing with now, I have to find other coping methods to deal with them because that niche wasn't there, so I had to really kind of navigate through each of my emotions and feelings. And to be honest, those groups really, really helped me in the first, couple of months, definitely, because having other people like in that setting with you that were kind of navigating through those feelings too, and then being able to share them with each other, and then, hearing about how other people coped and just getting the tools that I never knew existed. It played a huge role in the first couple of months for sure for me, like keeping level headed, because
absolutely.
Yeah.
It does. It lays that foundation that's just perfect to get started down this journey. I know that if I didn't go through an inpatient rehab, I probably would not be as successful so far as I've been. It did lay the groundwork, and even though I was scared, it we talked about it at my AA meeting this morning. How that messy stuff, you want to you hear people share, and they have reached this point where they're like over this mountain, um, and they feel like the weight of the world's been lifted, and you're back here still. You want to be up there, but you don't want to go through all this messy stuff in between.
Yep.
And that messy stuff is the good. That's the good stuff, isn't it? Would you agree?
Oh, for sure. Because that messy stuff, in my opinion, the messy stuff makes you stronger, and at least for me, I know everything that I've experienced, endured, and went through, it really molded me into who I am today, and I wouldn't be as strong as I am today if it wasn't for going through all of that messy stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is.
I can relate there as well.
Yeah, and Gemma, well, I'm going to throw a question your way, but real quick, I want to welcome everybody in that's been uh, trickling in. Welcome into the Mental Health Hour. If you're new with us, some of Mindy's following. I'm Tim. That's Gemma. We do this broadcast, and that's Mindy. You know Mindy. Oh, she's over this way. Um, but we do this broadcast every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So right in this hour slot, every single Wednesday we're live. We talk about a different topic in mental health every week, and we've been going for a little over a year. Well, maybe a year and a half now. But welcome in. It's great to have everybody here. Thanks for all the bits, the support, the shares, the love, the subs, and everything. We put all that money back into this show to help keep it growing. Um, uh, so I'm Tim, and thank you to, was it Mike, for the congrats on my sobriety. I have 2 years sober. I'm an alcoholic, and uh, that's just a little bit about me. There's 66 episodes of this show. If you want to go back but I want to keep this show rolling with Mindy. This is her story, and I appreciate her taking the time to join us today. And Jim, thank you for the bits. It's good to see you, my friend, and I see Med is here as well now. Hello to everybody trickling in. Glad to have you along this week. Getting back to Mindy and Gemma, I wanted to throw it over your way because you guys were Periscope alum. I was not. I was on the Periscope app, but merely as a audience member. I was a watcher of broadcasts. I was not yet live streaming. I hadn't gotten a kind of platform or what I wanted to do. Like when I made this show, I knew this is it. This is what I wanted to go live stream about. But you guys were on Periscope. How can you both kind of discuss or talk about how live streaming helps with the recovery process or with just mental health in general?
Yeah. Like that's why I went on Periscope, because I signed up to Periscope after I'd got out of a very messy relationship with my son's dad. He had cut me off completely from the world. I had no friends, no nothing. And originally, for me, I started broadcasting as a way to use it to get me out of the house, because I suffered with agoraphobia for a while because I'd been in the house for so long. And I'd gone nearly 2 years with broadcasting everything but my face until I double tapped the screen and it was right in my face. Like, oh no. And so I just kind of went with it after that, but it did, and it helped me continue that, getting out of the house. I had people that did like Periscope train for me when my son was diagnosed with cancer and raised money to help me get everything that he needed. And I've met some of the best friends and people from there that I've continued to, like, even now, like with and it got me out of everything, and it got me, because I used to self-harm religiously, and like you said, how when you had a child it helped you. My son stopped me from wanting to end my life because I religiously tried to self-harm, but self-harm with the intent of killing myself. like popping pills, trying to end
Right.
my life. I was done with it, but that stopped me
The
from
live
wanting to do that.
live streaming, you were saying, really just kind of gave you that place to come and
Yeah.
meet new people, would you say? Or
Oh yeah, definitely. It gave me the connections that I had been deprived of being in such an abusive relationship.
right. And
And
how about you, Mindy? Same question. Like what drew you to the live streaming the live streaming world?
Yeah, I think it was on Twitter I discovered, Periscope. Someone posted on about it, and I'm like, oh, a live streaming community, and I started just doing videos like Gemma said. I was just going live, and I think like on top of being able to express myself in rehab, in those sessions, I was able to like at home also when I was going through it, not be by myself because I had the community on Periscope. So like I won't ever forget my mom was in the hospital the one day and I went live from the hospital, and like I just had this like overwhelming feeling. And as recovering addicts, you always have to navigate through these feelings. And the instant thing that goes through your brain is, oh, I have to self medicate myself. Like that's how I'm going to deal with this. And, having that community there and really just relying on that when I was, experiencing these emotions was really, it was just helpful. The community, I always say that, the community also, the fans, the community, the supporters, that all kind of played a role in keeping me sober throughout the years.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. These folks that are in chat right now have been with us for a long time,
mhm.
and they help exactly what you're saying. Keep us going, keep us motivated,
Yeah.
and they've stuck with us through 2 platform changes, which is awesome, and I can't thank them enough to keep finding us and going along with us. Michael Joseph Murray, I believe. Let me scroll back up. He mentioned something that I kind of wanted to touch on because it sounded pretty cool. It was about Mindy's Minions. Here it is. Let me pull that up. Mindy is so amazing, has created a great community. Mindy's Minions, who helped crowd fund her Capitol Records in Atlanta, Georgia, to work with Mama Dan. Can you tell us about Mindy's Minions?
Yeah, well, so a bunch as we started growing on Periscope, somebody came up with this really cool name and started doing like Twitches. Like I think they did a Twitter, and then they had like a support page, and so they just started saying Mindy's Minions as like the fan group. That's what they called
Mhm.
themselves. And so anytime like we had something come up, like Michael said, crowdfunders, any opportunity that came my way, the Mindy's Minions, the supporters, the fans, they all supported anything that we had, going on. And so yeah, I thought that was really cool. They came up
Yeah.
with that name, and it's yeah, it's a community now, kind of, so it's cool.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that fit right in with what we were talking about, how this live streaming community can be so excellent,
Yeah.
and so helpful for us. And we're doing the same for them, I hope, by being here every week. Um, Loved Mindy's collab with Jairus Cook, says Jim in Chicagoland.
Oh,
Jairus
yeah.
Cook, I haven't heard
Yeah.
that name in some time. And I saw some of his talent on Haps, a previous broadcasting platform, and that he was very, very good. Um, I
Might
hope
have to reach out there.
That
That's one that I'd messaged actually.
that collaboration was crazy too. We ended up doing in 2020 when COVID hit. I reached out to Jairus, and we got in a conversation in group chat. Mike was in my manager, Mike, he was in the chat group with us, and we were all kind of talking like how, with everything we were seeing, first of all, with COVID and us being stuck in the house and mentally like going insane in so many ways, we were like, what is going on? Like, enough is enough. Like, that's like the first thing that came out of Jay's in my mouth was enough is enough,
you.
and and that's where we kind of we wrote this song. It's called Enough Is Enough, and we wrote it about 2020 and just everything that was going on in that year. And it was cool because normally I sing. I'm a pop singer, but I do rap, and rapping is something that I kind of like to show off sometimes in some of my songs. And this song in particular, we had Jay sing the choruses and me do the raps, which is super super cool. And yeah, that's where Enough Is Enough came in, so it was definitely. And the best part about it was because of COVID, I had to record my stuff out here in Jamestown, New York, and then he ended up recording at a studio in New Jersey, and then they just sent the files to each other. And then we also separately recorded a music video, and he had somebody film his part in Jersey, and I had my part filmed here in Buffalo, and we just combined it and made it work. So it was the first project I've ever done, like not being in the same room with someone, but it was super awesome. It was cool.
That's really cool. Mike, thank you so much for all the gifted subs. That is amazing. Really appreciate it. You are an awesome guy, and this is the first time we've met. So again, welcome in, and thank you guys. Like I said, everything that you guys give to the stream goes right back into the stream. We self-support here, just like in AA, and we help keep this channel growing. As Hattie's mentioning, please, for all of our newcomers, we do have a Discord. It is a very active community of mental health, and please feel free to join. If Hattie can drop in the Discord again, that would be great. So it's easy to find, but the invite code will be there for you, and we really encourage folks to join the Discord. That's where our community is the safest. We can moderate and keep in the good, keep the bad out, and really just share experience, strength, and hope, and keep going and keep fighting the good fight, if you will. Welcome into the Mental Health Hour. We are we're about 40 minutes in, but talking to an amazing lady, Mindy Davey. You guys know her well. I'm just meeting her. I'm impressed. I love talking about this stuff. So, I mean, I want to just keep this stream going all night, but we can't do that. But my mind is, but we'll have to, if you're available, maybe we can have you back again for another conversation. I did want to touch on music next. Like, I'm a big music guy too. You're saying all the key words again that, I mean, I dabble in a little. I have a talent of flow, if you will. I can rap myself, and it's fun.
Right.
It's fun to do karaoke sometimes and just get out there and do that. But more importantly, music. Now, I'm a drummer, and I grew up. I've been playing the drums since I was about 10 years old.
Wow.
Unfortunately, when I picked up my first set of sticks, I didn't realize that percussion instruments, you don't really make music on. You're the heartbeat, but I didn't realize that I wasn't making music. I wish I would. I still have, and I still hope to learn the piano. That's my ultimate goal. I want to learn how to play the piano. But as far as music goes, I speak to it highly. As far as therapeutic and everything about it is great. You get the opportunity to play and perform. I mainly just listen, but it still does a great number for me. And Gemma has talked about music a lot as well. Can you fill us in on where the music jive started and came in, and how strong it is, and how important it is for your program or your recovery?
Yeah, music, it's always been in my family. My grandma and my mom always done music growing up, and I remember I was like always watching when I was little, my mom and my grandma singing, on the guitar in the living room and getting ready for the church choir. And so I think that's just always been a love of mine, and when I was like 10, 11 years old, I really started kind of just trying to play the guitar a little bit, here and there. But um, as I started kind of getting into high school, and I obviously set the music part of, my love of my life down and started using. But um, once I got sober, man, I picked up that guitar again, and it's like I didn't ever put it down, and the cool thing about it is I don't know any notes on the guitar. I literally just listen to everything by sound. And then I use the capo on different frets, and I find like where it fits, and I get it like that. So I played the instrument, even piano too. I play it all by sound and ear, and um, it's crazy. But that was definitely a huge tool for me. Um, was being able to express myself in music, and especially as I started getting more and more into the music aspect, it's like if I'm having an terrible day, I'll call up the producer and, Mike, my manager, I'll be like, listen, we need to get into the studio, and that's kind of where I just go off and really put all my emotions down. And so it's definitely a huge tool for me to, even now, people think even when you're in recovery, it's like you're out of the water and it's easy, and it's not. Like, for instance, quick story, I passed 2 weeks ago, I was driving around, here, and I had to do some stuff. I was performing a live show in Jamestown, New York, and I'm trying to find an outfit, and I was
Mhm.
driving down a part that I've never been around since I've used back in the day, and it just brought me back to a memory like a trigger. And
Mhm.
it's hard, you fight, every day, even in recovery, you have to fight through emotions and really just kind of navigate through them in a positive way. So music is definitely a huge tool for me to navigate, through those emotions,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Music is just it's incredible how one song you hear on the radio can tell such a story of your own life, and it's just like I found myself unable to explain things sometimes of what was going on inside me to my mom or a family member or my wife or whoever, and I'd just be like, "Listen to this song. This says everything," and it really does. It is.
Yep.
Sometimes you find that one that's just like, yes. And
Yep.
it's the same thing as like group therapy. I speak very highly of group therapy. Not everybody is into group therapy, but I love it because there's no better feeling than, or no better way to not feel alone in this world than to sit in a room of 9 other yous.
Yep.
um, and that's what music is like. You find that one song that just really hits home. Um, but it's incredible.
Yeah.
Um, and relapse is definitely a big concern still today. I have the 2-year chip. You have 10 years strong. Relapse never goes away, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's it gets easier, and I say it gets easier because back when I had my 4-year, 5-year, actually, M. Letica is my manager. He's me and him talk every day, and back maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was struggling, bad. I would have to call him up, and like I would just have to navigate through those feelings, and it was hard for me, like especially those triggers. It took me a little longer to get my mind off of it and get my mind like right again, but I feel like 2 weeks ago now I just hit my 10 years, September 12th, and you know it was wicked. It was for the first time, in about a year or two, that I had a trigger, and that trigger went away faster than I've ever had it go away, and it was all because I have tools in play, for that: listening to music, writing music, being around people I love, not anybody that's going to bring me down in a negative aspect, and I feel like it just is getting easier every single day, because of that, so it was definitely crazy to see how fast my mind changed compared to a few years ago. I would be stuck, and it's definitely it's that's awesome.
I can see a great working relationship there from this comment. Mindy has been great to work with for the past 6 years. She is the most genuine person I've worked with, and that's an amazing thing to hear, and especially from a manager or somebody of a supportive role.
And just in here now supporting you as well. That's amazing.
Yeah. Big shout out to Mike.
Big shout out to Mike. A big shout out to.
Is he cut off?
Oh.
Oops. Yeah. While he's cut off, I was just going to say it must be awesome to be able to have a manager that supports you like that and like be such good friends with them as well. His signal's clearly gone. But did you say that you'd met on Periscope?
Yeah, that's the wicked thing, I like to talk about it a lot because a lot of people ask me, oh, how did you find your manager, and Mike was just watching Periscope the one day, and as I mentioned earlier, I like to freestyle rap, so I was just rapping comments on Periscope, and I started just freestyle rapping, and Mike's like, this kid's kind of good, like I like her, and he followed me, but then he heard my story, and that's when he brought me down to Minnesota and had me speak at a bunch of centers out there and rehab centers, and that's kind of when we realized like we both have the same common goal of helping people and making a difference. And he's a great manager. He's a business guy. He's a businessman out in Duluth, and so it was an honor for me to be able to not only have him as my manager, but he's definitely a mentor in my life, which is cool. Really, really awesome.
Someone that really truly wants you to succeed like that, and to be able to work with them, that's an amazing kind of relationship to have with someone. So that's great. And Periscope was great for that, opening up doors for people, connecting people. And I truly miss it. I don't think there'll be ever an app or a community like that.
Nope.
And as much as I say that they can take the platform, but they can never take the community, as much as we've spread about, like a lot of us have stuck together, which has been great. But it certainly will be truly missed, will Periscope, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But there was one thing I was going to ask you. Oh, you did something on the TV, I saw. Are you all right talking about that? Did I see you do something on the TV? Was it an interview or something?
Yeah. We've been doing... So I ended up getting... when I released... I was doing a show about my sobriety and my 10-year sobriety, how I was going to, and at the same time, I wanted to release my single Destiny, which is like all about, where I've been, how I've overcame everything, and just everything's meant to be, to bring me to where I am today.
Yeah.
And so I started kind of reaching out to like the media, and we started getting, a lot of interviews done. And then a company called All Sober came out, and they messaged me, and they're like, hey, we would really like you to, come on and do an interview with us. And so All Sober is a major platform in a group for people who are addicted or in recovery. And basically, All Sober has a website, allsober.com, and you could go on there, and it's got all the tools for anybody that's addicted or in recovery. And so they put me up on their platform, and I'm one of the artists on their roster that basically I'm going to be kind of talking a lot about my sobriety, or if they need me to travel somewhere, I'll be able to travel to any place that they need me to go to talk about my story. So it was really cool to partner up with All Sober, and they're a very awesome, powerful platform, for anybody that's interested. Yeah.
That's amazing. I've seen Michael share that actually a lot, and I checked it out when he shared it with me before, and it looks amazing. It really does. Were you having technical problems there, Tim?
I don't know. I think my whole internet just went down. So
gotta love the internet for doing that.
We've got a great episode going, and Penelope is sound asleep next to me. So why not have the Twitch stream crash? However, we did look at this before we went live today. Apparently, Twitch is having some problems today.
Yeah.
They I don't know if it's through StreamYard or if it's Twitch itself, but as soon as I signed on to open the broadcast studio, it said there's a Twitch outage.
Yeah, it said it on mine.
Anywho, nevertheless, we're here. We're back. And talking with Mindy Davey, I'm glad you guys were able to continue and everything didn't crash. I wanted to hit on one more quick topic before we wrapped up. Children. I heard you mention your daughter was and how important that was in your when you hit that. I don't want to call it like rock bottom or anything like that. Like you hit that moment where you're like, okay, this is for real. This is for fucking real now. Like, everything I everything I ingest or absorb into my body is going directly to this unborn child. And right here, next to me is my 5-month-old daughter. That I just starstruck in love with. I've wanted nothing more than this my entire life, and there was no way I was ready to raise a child when I was in my drink. Um, but yes, best thing that's ever happened to me. Truly a helpful stepping stone in recovery to look at this little girl and keep on trucking for her and for me, above all else for me, but for her in the long run as well. I would love to hear your thoughts on more of how your daughter has helped you.
Yeah, like you said, that feeling, as soon as I found out I was, pregnant, she definitely, like, that prevented me from relapsing. It wasn't just me on that journey anymore. It was my unborn child. And she when I gave birth to her, it was a journey, navigating through being a new mom, and then navigating through trying to remain sober, and just dealing with the emotions and the triggers, and now the new motherhood. It was a lot. It was a lot, and I learned a lot, in the process. However, a couple of, I would say, about 6 to 10 months in, we started seeing, the milestones even throughout the year. Her milestones that she was supposed to hit, she didn't hit. And we kind of were like, okay, what's going on? And we took her in, and they thought like she was deaf or autistic, and none of that, was on the table. But she had a lot of delays, in many areas. And so she is labeled as a special needs kiddo. And it was definitely hard, navigating through seeing all my friends around me, hit those milestones, and being able to experience those milestones. And we were just kind of navigating through life the best way we could. And it's a blessing. It brings me to my next point. I wrote a song called Something Special. She even with her delays, she fails to amaze me. Every day she is progressing, and she's such a smart kiddo. And kiddos in general, just being able to work with special needs kiddos, and seeing her and her therapies and everything else, it just really inspired me to write a song called Something Special. She saved my life, and I want her to know, that just because she has this disability or these delays, it doesn't define who she is, and it doesn't hold her back from anything in life. And so I wrote the song called Something Special, which is coming out soon. I didn't release it yet, but it's coming out soon. And she's everything to me. I think that's another reason why I'm sober, and I didn't relapse, because I know that I'm everything she has, and I'm the one who forefronts for her, and she needs me. And so because of that, I don't have any issues with relapsing, because I know she relies on me,
And Gemma, same with you. You just had Thomas ring the bell.
Yeah, on his 9th birthday, he rang the end of chemo bell at nearly 4 years of chemo. And it's amazing how much, like when you see them, you instantly fall in love, even on the screen when inside you and things. And that's a love like no other, like unconditional, with no other, like nothing else can compare to that. And it's amazing how even in your darkest days they can snap you out of something like that, because I'm on my own with my son, so I'm literally everything he has. And there's days where I've wanted to give up and wanted to just think, no, I can't do this anymore. But I'm like, well, no, I can't, because if I do give up, then what,
Yep.
And it's been enough to keep me going, to the point where now I'm starting to see life for what it can be. And I don't want my bad past to influence him. He's going through some depression at the moment, which they said it could be because he turned 9 on the 17th of September, and he rang the chemo, but for over 4 years, hospitals and back and forth, all he's known, and that routine's changed again. And they did say it might actually be that's done it oddly. As much as no one wants to have cancer and be in and out of hospital, again, it's all he's known, so it's an adjustment to that. And he's currently going for a referral to see if he's got something like autism or something like that. But at the end of the day, like, whatever he's alive.
Yep.
And we can deal with the rest, But it's amazing how they can turn your whole life the other way and keep you on track so that you can keep them on track as well.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing too, is like when I go on tour, like Mike just said, Ari, my daughter, came on stage for the first time with me 2 weeks ago at my sobriety show. Yeah, she came on stage.
I saw that on your Facebook.
Yeah, it was the first time, and so it's a blessing to be able, anywhere I travel on the road, if I have to speak somewhere or I have to sing somewhere, I'm always bringing her with, and she gets to experience it with me, which is something crazy special, and it's.
Yeah. I bet she's your biggest fan, that's for sure.
Yes.
She's your biggest fan, biggest supporter. That's amazing that she gets to be there with you for all that.
Yes.
Did I see she's the same age as mine? Is she about 9? Did I see? Yeah, so same as my Thomas then. Yeah, I thought she was. I'm sure they're the same age.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's amazing. And
I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
Aww.
Well, this has been a fantastic episode. Mindy, thank you so much for joining us. There's still so much I want to talk about. Hopefully we can have you back again sometime down the road.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Thanks for having me.
Everybody, please like, follow, subscribe, share Mindy Davey Music. There's all of her website and Twitch. Mindy, did you have any final thoughts for the folks?
I'd say
anything to leave them with?
Sobriety is possible. Anything is possible, and just never lose hope. Always maintain that hope, because you'll get hit with a lot of negative stuff in life, but I'm telling you, the positive outweighs the negative. You just got to maintain that hope.
It's great, great advice, and I love these chips we get and stuff. I've said it on here before. People ask about the chips. They're like, the chips are a little bit of a pat on the back for ourselves for achieving that 3-year, that 4-year, that 5-year mark. But it's also, more importantly, to show the new guy that the program works.
Yes.
And so is coming on here, some little mental health hour broadcast and sharing your story. It does the same thing. It shows people that this is possible. Like you just said, sobriety is possible. And we really appreciate having you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, indeed. You're always welcome back. And thank you to everybody for all the subs and bits and cheers and hype trains and all that jazz that goes on. We really appreciate everybody being here. Let's talk a little community calendar before we get out of here. Jim in Chicagoland, he is here in the comments. we've got Catalyst tonight. Long time standing show on Wednesday nights, following the Mental Health Hour now. I mean, he's been on years before me and Gemma, but we're piggybacking, or we're opening up for him now. We're opening up on the road for him now. So 11 p.m. Eastern time, or Eastern Standard Time tonight. Catalyst. The hurricane. Here he is right here. Hurricane Ian coverage and conversation on
Yeah,
tonight.
man. Prayers going out to everybody in Florida for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hurricane Ian coverage and conversation tonight. Catalyst, 11 p.m. Join us. I'll be there. And then a ray of sunshine popped in. I don't know if he is still here.
It says he's here.
Yep, he's still here. Check his streams out. Positive vibes, positive stories. Always doing the good work that Ray does. I haven't been able to catch one of his streams lately, but I hope to get in there soon. And there he is. Prayers to Florida. He's on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And then, of course, we got the Beardo Weirdo Show. We got Eric J. Gaming. And now Mindy Davey is a Mental Health Hour alum. She'll be on the website coming up here. And please check all of our friends out. And it wouldn't be the show without ending with our favorite bunny lady, Ella. Ella the bunny mom. www.mybunnyvalentine. Thank you, Hattie. There it is. mybunnyvalentine.com. If you use your promo code FireDude15, you'll get 15% off all of your purchases to help her in her mission to save all the bunnies in the world. Ella is a great ukulele, guitar, piano musician, streamer, late nights here on Twitch, and she runs her own business, My Bunny Valentine. So please help her out and catch her live on Twitch. I think that's all I got. Gemma, do you have anything to wrap up?
No, just thank you to Mindy for coming on. I've been wanting to get you on for ages.
Yes.
It
was a great night.
I've been following you for ages, so I knew you had such an amazing story to share, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, not at all. I think when we announced it, everybody was like, yay. Like, definitely Michael, been cheering you on for ages and ages. And Eric, everybody was so happy that you were coming on. So thank you.
Thanks guys. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Mindy, for coming on. And guys, we will catch you again next week. Same time, same place, right here on Twitch. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.